from Los Angeles. Welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Erin.
Hi, I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Jez Moye. This is Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Now also available on Apple TV and Roku.
That's right. It's Thought Thursday, and we're talking about how to be the inspiration. We come together each morning to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, and align with universal law, because we know you have something inside of you that's so inspiring that we want. We want all of you, right?
Yes.
And so it is.
Inspiration. I've heard somebody's especially inspiring.
Oh, we're going to talk about that later in this show, but I'm so excited to welcome our two very inspiring guests this morning. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
We have Lynn Marie Morsky. She is a professional quitter.
Oh.
Did you know
Love
that? Dr. Lawyer. Good morning, Lynn.
Good morning.
So here at Good Morning La La Land, we like to know, how do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
I start my day with meditation, breath work, exercise, some cold exposure. I finish about a 12-hour intermittent fast, and then I hop in an infrared sauna.
Wow. And then it's 7 p.m. That's incredible.
Wow, that sounds like a very purpose-driven morning.
I love it, yeah.
Absolutely.
Good morning, Jamie. Thank you so much for being with us, and congratulations. She won Best Director at the LA Short Film Fest.
Thank
Congrats.
you so much.
She's an incredible filmmaker. I'm so excited to get to know more about your journey and your latest projects. So what do you do to start your morning? What's your routine like?
I also meditate every morning, but not the sauna or the cold plunge. Yeah, every morning I meditate and you know, affirmations and think about like my intention for the day, and yeah.
I think that it's so important to really set your intention. So I'm wondering, what was your intention today, if you don't mind sharing?
Oh, I think to be awake by a certain time. I think just to be with purpose. So it's interesting that you guys are talking about purpose, purpose about life, and also I was thinking about that I don't know the answer to everything, you know, and so I'm just willing to learn as well about, you know, all kinds of topics, but that's what I was thinking about this morning.
Well, we really appreciate both of you being here, for sharing your time and your light. We're excited to get to know more about your stories later in the show.
Yeah.
Love that.
So how you guys been?
Fantastic.
What's going on?
How have you been?
You look amazing. As
Thank
always,
you.
both you guys. You guys are on point today.
Thank you
man.
so much. Special thanks
Seriously.
to Rochelle Goodrick, one of my favorite local designers here in LA. Big news, you guys. Big news. Coming out of fashion retirement.
Oh.
I am going to take the runway again tonight.
Yes,
You are?
yes.
I am. I'm a little nervous. It's been like probably 6 years. I'm putting on the high heels. I'm going to walk down that runway. I'm really excited. Over at the Beverly Hills Hotel. It's for a charity. Autism Speaks. They have a gala tonight, and they have asked me to be a part of the fashion show, so I'm really excited.
Oh, you about to burn that runway up, girl. I know it.
I hope so.
I love that hotel too. It's such an iconic place, right? You
It
go
is.
in there, you just feel like you're like in a time warp.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Grammy Award winner Jamie Foxx is going to be there performing tonight, so
much
it'll be a
fun.
very special show.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, Jess.
Way to come back out of the closet, you know, out of retirement. Just
Yeah, I
like
know.
a thing.
Maybe I'll take some BTS, follow my Insta stories at Jeslyn, and I'm sure I'll talk about it all tomorrow on the show.
Oh my gosh, so exciting.
Yeah.
We'll check out your Insta stories all day.
Oh, yeah. We'll see. Oh, and LA Happy. Special shout out to Pilar Holland and Katina. I was recently on their happy hour show. We were Taste on Melrose. And it's just a quick, short episode. It's on S'mores TV. It's so fun. And they've really created a program for just women to go around and explore different happy hours all over Los Angeles and come in community and eat, drink, be merry. It's
love
LA Happy. Yeah.
Love that.
I got happy last night. So we have a guest coming on the show in a while. His name's Robert Bouchard. He's a dear friend of mine for years and years. He's in Coach Carter and been in so many things, incredible actor. So he's coming on the show and he has all these like new potions. He's really into the CBD world and hemp and all that stuff. So he goes, I have a present for you. So he drops this thing off on my front door, and I don't take the CBD, or I've used some of the lotions and stuff like that. So he gives me this hemp-like thing. It was like supposed to really help your skin. So last night I decided I was going to go to bed really early. And I was like, well, I think I'm going to try this thing, you know. So I put it all on. I smell like marijuana all night long. I slept really well, but it was like, you know, this whole hemp CBD thing. I was like, it's just hilarious. I'm like cracking. I'm thinking it's like a movie in my life. Like it's like I'm like laughing at myself the whole time.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. Well, congratulations. Saw the Forbes.
Oh, thank you so
want to share that
much.
with everyone? Yeah.
Well, we want to talk about Thought Thursday, and it was kind of some of the inspirational thing that came about. Was so honored to be featured in Forbes yesterday as one of the 11 most inspirational women to watch on Instagram. So random, but so cool. And I think it's really about building community and stuff. So I was thinking and thinking about what is true inspiration, because we talk a lot about this on the show, and they're having a dinner for us next on the 11th. So honored to do that as well. Super cool.
Oh yeah,
and,
congratulations.
Yeah, but I was thinking about inspiration. I was contemplating, meditating on it, and I was thinking about there is, of course, we totally want to find the inspiration within, right? But I was thinking about what is it that has us inspired, and I was thinking about when I first found leaders and things that were teaching truth, right? And we talk about righteousness and how, you know, it's like almost like we look down upon righteousness, but there is a righteousness in true inspiration when people are teaching truth and teaching things or doing such inspirational things that you know they're living their best life. It's so inspiring, you can't help but do it. But I was just thinking about how does someone find that? Because we can go get inspired out there in the world, but tapping into that within. And I think if you are somebody who's not living and inspired by yourself, then it's like it's time to take that that courage and that strength. Like I get inspired by our lives, don't you? I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, there's days where you're like, I can't do this, or there's an imposter, and then there's days you're like, wow, this is kind of cool. I'm like inspired by myself, which is I think everyone should be inspired by their own story.
Oh, absolutely, no question about that. I do want to dive deeper into this. Do we have a rewind from yesterday? I think we do.
We do. We had some very inspiring guests. Let's take a look at our rewind.
The moment that I committed to happiness and committed to peace, and I took my mind off of money. Because I've noticed a couple of things in my life. I noticed that money has come to me when I was super stressed about it. Sometimes money came to me when I was really happy about it. Sometimes money didn't come when I was really happy and felt in alignment. Sometimes money didn't come to me when I was at peace. So I just threw all that out.
I work with a lot of women who are getting into their 40s and 50s, and you know, they've brought up their children, and they're looking around, they're going, it's my time, but what's there for me? Or they've had a brilliant idea, but they've never had the courage or the conviction or the time or the energy or the confidence to make it happen for them.
Listening, understanding, feeling, and then moving power, and really understanding like what that means on a way that I kind of evolved to, you know, over a lot of injuries, a lot of issues, and then trying to figure out like, why are things not changing, and how do I start to use what I know to make something really happen?
You know, I could either just allow it to cripple me. I could allow it to just put me to my knees and give up, you know, because I thought suicide runs through your mind, and it's, you know, you have to control that. And so I did a lot of meditation. I learned about myself. I said, hey, if I truly want to make an impact in this world long term, I have to not only get myself out of this, but I also have to do it in a positive way.
Ultimately realize, ooh, I have a lot of work to do, right? I'm called to help other people, but I really see this is all about me.
So inspiring,
What a fantastic guest. Yeah.
So inspiring.
What I really love most about those guests is they were so true and authentic with their stories and their struggles, and really just how they're continuing to push on and push forward in their purpose. And they were very honest in saying, you know, it's not always going to be perfect, even when you figure it out, right? And maintaining that through the expertise and the positive psychology of Lewis, and saying, okay, but this is a choice I'm going to make to continue to push forward. And that, to me, is inspiring.
Absolutely agree with you. It's a journey that's endless, right, in a way. And every mountaintop is sort of the beginning of another mountain to climb. So yeah, I'm most inspired. I'd say I love what you had to say about inspiration in general. And the word inspire literally means to breathe in, right? So to be inspired is to be given life or to receive life, right? And so that which gives me life essentially is God or source or intelligence, that which I'm one with. So I feel most inspired when I'm simply breathing and not thinking a whole lot, right? So that's the first thing. And I'm also most deeply inspired when I see other people tapped into and turned on, and they're fully present and they're expressing themselves creatively, you know, expressing their gifts creatively
Right.
and uniquely. So I think I find that in everybody. I think there are moments in everybody's life when they're most deeply dialed in,
Right.
and I find those moments most inspiring for me.
So interesting. One of a dear girlfriend and now a client, Andrea, who's on the show here, she teaches the it factor of voice because she is a voice instructor, and she's talking about a big, basically a big survey on what they were looking at. What is the it factor? So they went and found all these directors and producers, and they questioned them about all kinds of things. What is it that has somebody get become the person, that it factor? And they actually found that it is that place that they have to be between the completely inside, inspired, grounded source space, and then in between being extroverted. So there's a fine line between that, and I think we have to constantly be grounded in source, in truth, and then bring our gifts out. You can't be too external. You'll see where people are they're just they want it too bad. They're just kind of all over the place. There's got to be a rootedness. There's got to be a truth that's unshakable, and that is what they consider the it factor.
I love that. That's such a great explanation. Mike Cheek sent me high of Claremont Graduate University, positive psychology researcher. He talks a lot about the psychological state of flow. And the psychological state of flow, he would define just like that. It's a state where you lose all sort of sense of self-consciousness, all sense of sort of time consciousness, and you're deeply tapped in and dialed into your own gifts, but you're also sort of hyper aware of what's happening around you. And so it's just this beautiful sort of dance that happens when you're just sort of tapped in.
So true, I love it. Well, you guys inspire me.
You inspire me too.
Wow, one of the
Absolutely.
11 most inspirational women on Instagram.
There
We get to wake up with her every single day, Monday, Friday at 9 a.m.
That's right. Does that get us on the list if you call us?
It's so funny, but anyway, I do think it's interesting in the conversation, and it's so subjective and it's so relative. Who inspires you on Instagram, and that's who you should be following and keeping in that conversation. If people kind of, if they entangle you or trigger you or whatever, it's just not your vibe, then we don't have to follow them, right? That's the beauty of who we pick to be in our circle.
Absolutely, and I will say that for the most part, and people maybe hate me for it, but I'm not most inspired by what I see on Instagram. I'm most inspired by what I see in real life.
Right.
And that's been
So
true, of
true.
course, since I was a kid. I was so deeply inspired by Michael Jordan. So sports have always inspired me. Music, I love music. The arts, TV, film. But really, it's the real people in real life. My mom, my sister, my brother, my dad, you two,
Right.
Andy Waldman, Tori
Yeah.
Simone. I mean, honestly, those people inspire me every single day.
Absolutely. I'm one of those guilty as charged. I love those old Hollywood glamour pictures with their inspirational quotes, a la Judy Garland or Audrey Hepburn or Marilyn Monroe. And one of my absolute favorite ones was the Marilyn Monroe. Imperfection is beauty, madness is genius, and it's better to be absolutely ridiculous than absolutely boring. I love that. You know what? I can embrace that. That inspires me because it really just encompasses the mess that is my pretty hot life right now. But it helps me and inspires me to continue on and embrace that imperfection and that madness, and in that find inspiration.
Right.
You make a great point, Jez, which is that I think sometimes we try to control, channel inspiration in a way, and in doing so, we detract or compromise our ability to be inspiring. And so there's a huge piece of inspiration that's all about letting go and being ridiculous at times and being out of control at times and not knowing what you're doing at times. I think sometimes that's where the greatest, fullest, deepest inspiration sort of flows
So
through.
true. Sounds like the story of our lives. No, just kidding. And I think the most inspirational times in my life right now is actually when we're connecting in real life as women and we're doing true source work, and so excited because it looks like we're going to be, we haven't announced it yet, but it's looking like we're going to announce a Bali retreat in March of for a 10-day retreat for women. So it's very
I
exciting.
love that. I'm not invited again. I'm noticing a theme.
I know. I was thinking it's women.
I want to go to Bali.
We don't want to.
I'll go with you, right?
We don't want to
We'll be on the
isolate
other
the
side
men,
of the
that's
island.
for sure.
No, I
The
love
first 10-day with the co. Yeah.
I'm all about that.
we don't
Sounds
wanna-
fantastic. Well, keep us updated on
Yeah,
that.
for sure. We'll probably be announcing in the next week or two.
All right.
Well, we want to know what and who inspires you, so please feel free to slide into our DMs, leave us a comment on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, and let us know how you or who is inspiring you.
Love that.
Stay tuned, we'll be back.
Our
mission is to inspire, enlighten, and entertain, and we have done that with the next issue of Focus magazine, and we are lovingly calling it the Romance Issue. I'm Jessamine Moyer, the managing editor of Focus magazine, celebrating the people of Los Angeles from Malibu to Manhattan Beach and into West Hollywood who are making a difference here in LA. Gracing the cover is Ms. Tosca Mas. She is the co-founder of Passion Flicks. It's a new streaming service dedicated to passion. Also on the cover is Mr. Rob Mack Official, my co-host of Good Morning La La Land, a happiness expert who's got a great take on the language of love. Also on the cover, Ms. Lori Harder. She's released her new book, A Tribe Called Bliss, and she's talking all of the things about loving your tribe. We're also proud to feature Tracy Bregman from Mean Girl to Legend. You may remember her from Young and the Restless, and we're talking her journey in Hollywood. I'm also proud to announce that we have iconic matchmaker Carly Spindell's take on dating in modern romance. And for the love of television, we're also featuring Mr. Larry Namer. He was the co-founder of E! Entertainment, now president of the Newtown Entertainment Group. And we had a very special interview with him on my podcast, LA Unscripted. Also in this issue, we're featuring my dear friends, the Royals Paris, Faye and Hisham, great designers from Paris, now in Beverly Hills. We're also excited to feature Cherie J. Wilson. You may recognize her as one of the femme fatales and quintessential American actresses from shows like Walker, Texas Ranger, Dallas, and now she's launching her own production company, Sandalphon Entertainment. And we are community powered here at Focus Magazine. We're proud to feature Michelle Gillette's contribution, Healthy Sexy Brains. We're also proud to feature how one community mother is taking on our mental health and school violence crisis with her company, Q Wonder. And social media superstar and model is wielding her influence. Focus is proud to feature Sarah McDaniel. And our Focus food editor, Tamby Safran, had the opportunity to interview Chef Seth Greenberg, who's taking on Beverly Hills with his new restaurant, Citizen. And this woman is reinventing pizza. We've got a great feature on Gail Becker, the founder of Cully Power, reinventing some of our favorite foods. And our Focus TV travel editor, Wendy Kretschmer, took an incredible trip to the newest Grand Vela seaside sanctuary on Mexico's Baja Peninsula. It's life, love, and the pursuit of romance in the current issue of Focus magazine. Be sure to catch all the video interviews available on Focus TV Network and visit focusmag.us if you want to see the digital copy of this magazine. I'm Jessamine Moyer. We'll see you next time. Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We are live in Los Angeles with Jamie Anderson. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
You are an incredible filmmaker, award-winning director, writer, like one of the top, 25 writers to watch this year?
Thank you.
Ooh, incredible.
No,
Wow.
thank you, because you are creating such entertainment that is not only inspiring, but it's empowering, it's enlightening, it's entertaining, and it's igniting a conversation really about what's happening in our time right now with masculinity and femininity. And I mean, it's all coming through in the work that you're creating.
And the Me Too movement.
Yes, yes.
So tell us about your journey.
Well, the film that I shot last year is called Punching Bag, and I actually wrote it before the Me Too movement, but it was inspired because I was having a conversation with a male friend of mine, and he said, I feel like a punching bag right now. And so the climate was kind of already happening. And he was talking about how he's one of the good guys, you know, and we don't really talk about the good guys, and so that's kind of where the whole idea started, from, you know, kind of thinking about, okay, what is that conversation, you know, about like what our society deems as masculine and feminine, and the kind of confusion that's happening right now.
Well, I really want to dive deep into this conversation, but let's take a look at the trailer for Punching Bag.
Want to squirt in your eye, so deep you're blind. My pet name for you is One Eye. blinded by the power of my seed. Ladies! Do you feel threatened by Stacy?
Not really. My ex didn't stutter.
I smell trauma. Ah! Welcome back to Douchebag Defense. It's not about getting laid. I just really want to connect with someone. Showtime. Hi, Fatty.
I can feel myself for the first time.
We should go out sometime.
Yeah, for sure.
I just see us really getting along.
Girl, me too.
God, he didn't give you my abs. You were born fat. What? Nothing.
I'm gonna cut your fucking dick off! Ah! I hate you!
I thought I could save you.
I thought you were gay.
I used to be. Shadow of my life is hanging over me. A broken man.
That is so hilarious. I love the logline for the film and it being about a lonely romantic man who actually becomes the punching bag, quite literally, for these disillusioned women. And I feel bad because I think this is the case for so many men.
Yes, yes. I wanted to explore the other side of the conversation. And that's not to say that the Me Too movement is, it's been completely necessary. But I do think it was important to talk about, you know, how some men are feeling as well.
Well, and laugh about it too.
Yes, I mean, it's clearly a comedy.
It's a dark comedic take on
Yes,
the situation,
yes,
but it is good to be able to have a laugh about it.
Yeah.
All right. So what was it like for you when the Me Too movement came out? Being in Hollywood, you've been here around a lot. What's your experience around it?
I have have a different experience in terms of I did go through all of that in, you know, my 20s and had, you know, all kinds of things I would say happen. But again, it was a different time. So I had to learn from my experience and become, you know, get therapy and empower myself and do tons of self-work. So I really tried to change that victim consciousness into something empowering to learn from and to become better and in essence it was actually what spawned my spiritual path. You know, it made me just keep digging deeper how I could be a better person. And I will say that it made me incredibly compassionate and it definitely made me a person that wants to help people, love connecting people, love helping young women who are just starting out in the business, as well as men.
Right.
I mean,
It's an interesting dance between how do you acknowledge a movement that was really for minority women of, you know, sexual harassment and things going on, and then how do we also get out of the victim mentality? And it's a real dance, and I think it's a real touchy thing, and I try and just, like, it's different for every person, and like I don't feel like I can totally have an opinion on it, quite frankly, because I just feel like it's unique for each person. And I get that some men might feel like punching bags, but I think it's a different conversation, and it disacknowledges the Me Too movement in some ways, you know. So it's like a real delicate topic for so many people.
Yeah, I completely understand that, and I feel a little differently as a man and as a human being. I absolutely love the work that you're doing for a number of reasons. One, you're allowing a sort of deeper, broader, fuller conversation that's much more holistic. You're also, you've also set a very strong intention within the context of comedy for healthy, happy, harmonious relationships.
Yes.
And I think at the end of the day, that's the one thing that both men and women are really wanting, is they're wanting healthy, harmonious, positive, loving, happy relationships with each other at the end of the day. And so I don't think it's possible to have that conversation with conversation.
For sure.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you get that, because one of the messages of Punching Bag is that you know, this man thinks that by being their punching bag, he will save them. And the point is that we can't save anyone. We have to save ourselves. And once we become whole, then we have a real chance at love.
Absolutely.
Well, and so many men and women do that in their relationships too.
Yeah.
Like they accept the punches and they think that will fix them.
Right.
I can take this, and if I take this for you, then you will love me.
Right, exactly.
I love that. That's a great paradox of life, you know. We've got to take the punches, but no, we don't.
Yeah, and it does turn the entire sort of concept and notion of love on its head, because we often have this idea that love is self-sacrifice.
Yes.
And that's really, really problematic, because it invites, of course, all kinds of punching bag experiences in your life as a man or as a woman.
Right.
And so to be able to turn that around and realize that it's all about love, and some of that, sometimes it means loving people out there in the world, but it always means loving yourself foremost, first and foremost, and it's never about hate.
Right.
I think that for me, core of the message there.
Right,
is
right,
love.
right.
Well,
Yeah.
You have such a wealth of material and comedy. You have a knack for turning like the painful into the absurd with so much heart. Tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from. I read in your bio, the Redneck Riviera. And I love that. What is that?
I am originally from the South, and I think I got some good stuff from there. But also, there are a lot of hypocrisies, I will say, and. It made me run, want to run like Forrest Gump.
Where are you running from?
At that time, and there still is, but at that time there was quite a bit of racism still around, and I was, I think, a sensitive child. Like I didn't quite understand it, and so I think that is one of the reasons why I became an artist. Because. I wanted to express things that were being so repressed. And that's so much of the South. It's like, shove it under the carpet, let's not talk about it.
But from the South to LALALand,
yes,
right?
yes.
And what's that been like for you as a woman director, filmmaker? Like, that's not an easy task.
I think when you're younger, like you feel like you can do anything, which is great. And when you get older, you're like, oh wow, I was really brave. But yeah, I came out here originally as a 19 and was acting then, and then made my way.
I love that.
Yeah.
So today we're talking a lot about inspiration. Your major inspiration. Your life must inspire you. Who's inspired you along the way, or what's inspired you?
Oh, it's a good question. I think I have amazing female friends. First of all, really incredible friends. Friends for 20 years here, and then I also have incredible men in my life, and I'm so grateful for that. Men who've been mentors, and even on, for example, Punching Bag, my director of photography, John T. Connor, amazing man. My crew made up of women and men, and again, like when people talk about female filmmaker, I think that's amazing. But I also like to say hashtag men are awesome too, because I don't want to say that. I want to give value to all the wonderful human beings, in my life.
Community is everything. We say we're hashtag community powered here at Focus TV with the magazine. You have so many projects in development right now.
Thank you. Yeah. It's been.
Thank you. Features, short films, and the one that really resonated with me is one of your latest shorts about life in suburbia. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I just shot that 3 weeks ago, I think it was. It's been a whirlwind. It's called I'm Effing Fine. And
I think it's called I'm Fine. That is the moment. Like, when I read that, I was like, life in suburbia. I just see all of the women, like on the anxiety pills, whatever.
That's right. That's right.
Complete denial.
Together.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah. It's suburbia. This place called Paradise. But paradise is a euphemism for this elusive place that like everyone's trying to get, and it's really, there's an undercurrent of sort of a social commentary about how no one is fine, and it's like someone looking at someone, say like Anthony Bourdain, who looks to have it all and then is really struggling inside, and so even though it's about this woman who's struggling in this kind of confined, repressed community, it could be anyone, and she's trying to reawaken and rediscover herself, but amidst everyone trying to tell her, you're okay, and she's like, I'm not okay, So
it's interesting when you try and learn and become wear a golden cage, if you will.
Yes, right, and that is kind of what this film is also about.
And so many people, whether you're in suburbia or whether you're in Los Angeles, your expectations of yourself are what create this cage, right? Wherever you might be. I felt sometimes the expectations, even in suburbia, were worse or harder for me to deal with personally than the expectations I put on myself here in Los Angeles. In LA, I felt like my cage was a little bigger. I was a little freer, right?
Yeah.
In the way I felt back there.
Yeah, yeah. The gal that stars in it is this gal named Bree Turner, and she's also been one of my best friends for like 20 years. But I wrote it and I said, you have to play this. There's no one else that can play this like you. And there's some dance numbers in it, which is fun because you guys like to dance. And that was really exciting because I think dance is a great way to kind of reawaken your body, you know. So
true. So what now? You have all these things going on. You've had great success. Where do you see it all going? What's your true mission with all this?
Well, next I hope to direct a feature, and I have a couple features in development as a writer. So I'm championing myself to direct one of them.
I am championing for you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Jamie.
Thank you. And I just want to keep making films that ask us to dig deeper and ask the tough questions.
I love it. Such a great job of bringing comedy and enlightenment together. Thank you so much.
Yep. Tell everyone where they can follow you and find your films.
You can follow me at Jamie Anderson Film on Instagram, Jamie Anderson Film on Facebook, Jamie Anderson 5 on Twitter. There's so many Jamie Andersons.
But only one.
You are the one and only. Well, thank you, Jamie, for being here. We really appreciate it.
We'll be right back.
Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, thank you for tuning into This Week in Focus. I'm your associate producer of the Focus TV network, which is America's first video streaming talk show network, but you already knew that. And I got my girl with me,
Jez Moye, co-host of Good Morning La La Land.
So last week on the Focus TV network, we had the Wrenwood Show. On Purpose with Brittany Zonker, we had
the incredible actor Reggie Watkins.
On the LA Home Show with our host Natasha Phillips
was broker extraordinaire Amy Kane.
Yes. On Eyes Up Here with Lindsay Palis, we had
the actress Shai Fontanette.
On Naked Chats with Josh Murray, we had
Sheena Marie from Vanderpump Rules.
Yes, we're also so excited to announce the newest issue of Focus magazine.
And we are lovingly calling it the Romance Issue. We're proud to feature Ms. Tosca Musk on the cover, along with Focus TV family Rob Mack official.
Yes,
and
our guy.
Lori Harder.
So, speaking of Rob Mack, co-host of Good Morning La La Land, Jeslyn Moye, there was a very busy week at Good Morning La La Land. Who was on the show?
It was a great week in La La Land. On the show, we had two-time Emmy Award-winning producer and actor, Eddie Perez.
Yes.
We also had dating expert Laurel House.
What?
She co-hosts the hashtag Man Whisperer with Rob Mack.
With Rob Mack.
We were really excited to talk tennis with Carrie Lynn. And all the way from Orange County, Rachel Savoda.
Wes Gear was actually here repping his Rock to Recovery event.
And Focus TV with Good Morning La La Land was on the red carpet to promote Rock to Recovery 3. We talked to Drew Carey, Jeremy Jackson, Kira Reed-Lorsch was there. Let's take a look at the concert.
Let me hear you say, hell yeah! Say, hell yeah! Ready for the F-bomb? Say, fuck yeah! Now scream! I love you guys. Let's do this.
So much fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning into This Week in Focus. I'm Victoria Simone.
And I'm Jessica Moye. Don't miss the new issue of Focus magazine.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La on Thought Thursday. We're so honored to have Lynn Marie, she is an author, doctor, lawyer, and professional quitter. You've got a book called Quitting by Design, podcast Quit Happens. I mean, I'm ready to quit. Let's just go.
Fantastic. You need no convincing.
Don't quit yet, though, Erin. We still need you.
Okay, so this begs the question, when was the first time you made a choice to quit strategically in your life?
The first major strategic quit was when I was 20. I was a multimedia designer back in St. Louis, where I'm from. And I started to have these inner voices, like, you're not great at this, you don't love doing it. And I thought, okay, at first I thought maybe it's because I'm not great. Maybe if I take some extra classes, that'll help. And when I went to those extra classes, I was so bored. And I thought, oh, no, this is, if I'm bored in the class, this is not my life's path. So I needed to strategically quit. So I didn't just up and quit. I had to go through all the things I thought I might want to transition into and figured out the best way to quit so that, the team I was with wasn't in a lurch. It's like a lot of processes go on to make sure that your quit is strategic.
Wow.
I love that strategic, because a lot of clients will say, I'm ready to, leave my job. I want to do this other company. And they go, should I just quit? And it's like, you have to have a strategy. You've got to
Yes.
create the next thing before you leave. Just like, how do you strategically quit?
Well, and there's always a place. So many people will come to me and they'll be like, I up and quit and it was the best thing I ever did. And there's certainly a place for that too. But your chances of success are much greater if you plan. You're not quitting so that you can all of a sudden be out on the streets and down on the hierarchy of needs, You're trying to get higher, right? So strategic quitting involves making sure you know exactly what part of the thing that you're trying to quit that isn't working for you. Like, do you need to quit your whole job, or maybe is it just the commute? If it's the commute is the only thing that bothers you, do you know how much easier it is to go ask your boss, like, can I work from home for a day or two per week, than to go find an entire new job?
So true.
Or an entire new career. Or move, exactly. Just quit the city you're in. If you're in a city that's, 20 miles away and you can be in a city that's 3 miles away. It's just the little strategic quits that you make in there, the little changes, they may make a big difference.
So true. I'm quitting laundry and I'm quitting bills and I'm quitting all this.
I quit cooking.
I love it.
I absolutely quit cooking because I found, what's the stress points in my life? Well, I don't love cooking, and I'm very into health and wellness, and I would spend so much time researching ingredients and should I be ketogenic, should I be paleo? And I thought, I need to just hand this over to somebody else. And everything changed for my stress level at that point. And my fitness level changed too, because stressing out about cooking wasn't helping me be more fit. It was just counterproductive.
No, seriously, thank you for making that okay, because I felt guilty, and I think so many people feel guilty around quitting, but something like that, I'm like, I don't really like it. I don't want to do it. I would like to quit this. I accept that challenge.
I love it.
But in today's world, maybe people quit a little too much. So when is that place? Because I think a lot of people just think, oh, I should just, if it doesn't feel perfect, then it's not complete. Like, sometimes you got to do stuff that's just part of learning and growing that's not easy. So where's that line? How do you help your clients figure out when should you quit versus when do you need to frickin' stick this out to learn and grow?
The difference there is your body telling you or is your mind telling you? We all know the voice in our head is not our best friend, right? How many times does it tell us negative? It has this negative bias. If it's the one saying oh, this, you don't love this isn't your comfort zone, okay, you should quit that. That's where you should probably stick it out. But if your body is telling you, if you've got acid reflux, anxiety, insomnia, because you're in something that's so out of alignment with who you are, that's when I definitely think that you should be quitting for your health.
It's so profound what you're saying, and it speaks directly to the science, the most recent research about strengths, and that when people stick to the one or two things they do extraordinarily well, and they focus on exploiting their strengths, that's how they become extraordinary, either as individuals, as families, as organizations, as countries. The most sort of exceptional and most successful individuals, organizations, always focus on their strengths. They don't focus on shoring up weaknesses their entire lives.
Yeah.
So it's just profound. I love this.
Absolutely.
So what would you say, for those people who are contemplating, sort of taking this more strategic quitting approach to their life, but they're not sure exactly what their life is for and about? Because that's part of the challenge, at least for me, was I didn't know what to quit, what not to quit, because I hadn't clarified what I was optimizing my life for.
Yes.
So do you help people kind of work through that as well?
Absolutely. Okay. And it's so simple yet so profound that the way you find your purpose, your calling, is to just do what you love in your free time for a while. So say you don't love your job, but you can say, okay, my health is not suffering so much that I can't make another month or two work. Just spend your free time figuring out, gosh, what really lights me up? And then somewhere in there, you don't have to go find your passion. Your passion will find you.
So true.
If you just follow your intuition.
Right. So speaking of the journey, tell us a little bit about what's going on with your hand here.
I always have henna on. I do Indian dancing, and ever since medical school, and I'm not big on jewelry. This is henna, right? And this is a bio tracker. So the only jewelry that I have is all useful, and I'm very active. So it's kind of the jewelry that never leaves or bothers me while I'm
So what does it represent for you?
For me, this represents, I always say this, and this is kind of funny that I'm going to say this on television, but I have kind of generic white girl syndrome. I'm average height, I'm average, hair color and all those things, but the little freak flag that everybody has their little like, hey, I'm a creative, a little thing, right? So I just said that. But yeah, but that's, you know, that's part of what it is. It's
conversation starter.
It's a conversation starter, and I, you know, like I'm not super artistic in the design world. I'm more of a musician, but this is my little art that I can do to kind of say like, hey, I've got a little something more, because I'm a doctor, lawyer, and those things are generally kind of very straight-laced, and people might assume that there's no freak flag anywhere there.
I love that you find that freak flag and you really embrace dance. That's beautiful.
I do. Yes.
How does it make you feel?
Oh, that's my flow state. Absolutely, like you were talking about before. When I'm dancing, I don't know that there's anything else going on. That's why I loved at the beginning of the show. You're like, okay, we're gonna show you guys, and then you're gonna dance. I'm like, this is already my favorite thing I've ever done. Great. Yeah,
so true. So you can quit being in the program of what it looks like to be a doctor or lawyer, and you can take on what you do want to do. I love that.
Absolutely. Even in my own medical career, I work 10 to 12 hours a week because I had the typical 40-hour-a-week seeing a patient every 15 minutes, and I found that was causing me anxiety, even though I didn't realize at the time, but my heart rate would always get increased. And finally, what did I start doing? I just started taking some like heart slowing down drugs. Like that's how out of tune I was with what was really going on. And I was like, oh, no, I don't have a heart problem. I don't want to see patients every 15 minutes in this manner problem. Right? So I said, I'm quitting that, and I'm going to find a job that works with what I feel medicine should be like. So I see a patient now every hour in a totally different setting, no call, I'm not prescribing opioids. I've definitely very intentionally set what I don't like about medicine and found a job that has only the parts that I do like.
So
wow. What's been the hardest part of your journey as you've taken the strategic quitting approach to your life overall? Has it been other people's expectations about who and what you should do and be? Has it been your own? Has it been something different?
Definitely something different, because a big part of the book is I talk about other people's expectations and your own. Other people's, like you were talking about that golden cage, right? In the last segment. Other people are going to think about what you are quitting for about 3 minutes before they go back to their own Instagram, right? Right? Like you're like, what are they going to think? And you're like, not much, you know? Like at the end of the day. So, right? Yeah. They don't, unless they happen to be your spouse or your immediate family. They just don't care. And so that's like a whole. Just take out other people's expectations.
Right.
And your own. That's something that sometimes you have to quit. Just your own expectations. Like, okay, I expected I was going to be this high-powered lawyer or a high-powered doctor, and that isn't fulfilling to me. Gee, who's keeping you in the cage but yourself? Like, sometimes you have to quit your mindset on that.
There's such a stigma around quitting, right? I know so many people, you could hear it on a daily basis. I am not a quitter. I refuse to quit. I am not a quitter.
Absolutely. And that's my entire mission, is to destigmatize quitting. Because I follow like #quitting on Instagram just to see what other people are saying about it. And all day long, it's just these, you know, winners never quit type thing. And that keeps so many people stuck. Think about how many people would love to quit and love to branch out into something else, or maybe they're stuck in a relationship, or they're stuck in a mindset or a city or whatever it is. And they're like so afraid to quit because that's what they hear. So they stay stuck and trapped, and they're not living their most fulfilled life. That's not serving society as a whole. That's not serving them.
It's so interesting. I have this friend. He's a male supermodel, and I asked him one day. I said, "How did this happen for you?" You know, and I said, "Obviously, you're great looking and all these things, but he's smart. He's an incredible volleyball player. He's all these things. He's an artist." And I said, "How did you?" And he said, "You know, honestly, Rob, I would try one thing for a little while. If it didn't work out for me quite easily and effortlessly and naturally, I gave it up and quit and I moved on to something else. Or if I didn't enjoy it that much," he said, "I kept doing that. And just through a process of elimination, I kind of happened upon this modeling thing, and it just kind of took off." And he said, "So it's just been the process of elimination, just sticking to the quitting." But so much of it, too, he said, has been about redefining what authentic success means to him.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I think that's so key, because so many times quitting is synonymous with failing. If I quit, I failed at this.
And I say that quitting is actually a presumptive that keeps you from failing. Think about who has the power in quitting versus failing. If you're doing poorly in a job, your boss can fire you, at which point your boss is essentially saying, you failed at this job. But if you're doing poorly in a job, it's probably because that job isn't right for you. You know, like I was talking about with multimedia. Then you strategically quit. You didn't have to have somebody tell you you're a failure. You took the power. It's an empowered move to quit when something isn't working for you, instead of passively sitting around and waiting to fail.
Right. Plus, it's like if you have a passion or a mission, if say my mission is teaching truth and teaching universal law, it doesn't matter of like whether it be this show or different programs or whatever. If I stay on my mission, it unfolds where that highest good is for that mission. So I don't think that they're getting attached to the actual job or to the situation, to whatever. What is the actual driving force behind for someone? And maybe they don't know that, but maybe that they just keep finding their bliss, and it's so important. Oftentimes I found when I'm stressed out, it has nothing to do with what I think it is. We project on, it's like, oh, it's this traffic, or it's this, or and usually it's just because I'm not living in alignment with that true purpose. So how do you help it? Because this is an ongoing thing, and I teach the same thing, like, how do you find your purpose and calling? And you say, like, just go follow your bliss. So there's somebody out there that's watching that says, okay, I would like to quit everything in my life because they're just not happy, and they haven't found their purpose and calling. How do they find that?
Well, when people get to the I want to quit everything situation, I'm always like, okay, stop before you quit anything. Because clearly there's one thing that's probably the nidus of all these other discontented feelings. And it really takes going to a therapist or having a coach to whittle that back, because you don't want to quit everything. That's not easy. People up and move to a new city and think everything's going to be different. No, you still come with you. Yeah. And a lot of what's going on is in the issues are mindsets that you're stuck in. And so I would just work them backwards and say, like, let's look at your values. Let's look at what does make you happy. What at the end of the day brings you an anxious feeling versus a feeling of flow. And then you can kind of identify patterns and identify what mindsets may be holding them back in those areas. And once you get those mindsets out of the way, they may not need to quit everything else. They may be able to make much more strategic quits.
Love it. Perfectly said.
When I think about it now, I was at a point that everything, I literally wanted to quit life. And looking back now, I realized, oh my goodness, it was that, and I never saw it this way, but it was that decision to sort of quit everything that I was doing at the time that led me to where I am now, focusing on the things that I love to do the most. And had I not made that decision to sort of quit the miserable life that I had, I wouldn't have discovered it for the rest of it.
So
it's profound, it really is.
Such important work. Thank you so much for helping and assisting people to quit.
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. My pleasure.
Tell everyone where they can find you and all the different platforms you have.
Absolutely. My podcast is called Quit Happens. It's on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere you can find a podcast. And the book is Quitting by Design. You can pick that up on Amazon or my website, which is quittingbydesign.com, or you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram at Quitting by Design.
And when you want to quit somebody else, you can go get a lawyer and work through that.
Or a doctor. She does it all.
Thank you so much. Stay tuned. We'll be back
for having
more on
me.
Good Morning LaLaLand. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLaLand. It is about to get hot in here. Kelly Russo is here guiding us through the ALS Hot Pepper Challenge.
Yes, I'm so sorry, but this is going to be fun. It's for a good cause. So first, you pick a hot pepper of your choice, then you eat it on camera. Honestly, this is an underfunded disease. With money, we can cure it. We're doing this, right? Oh, this is gonna be so, okay.
Ready?
Oh, it's hot.
No, it's getting bad.
It's getting bad.
Make your donations. We're challenging you, LaLaLand, to give back to ALS. Stay tuned tomorrow for more #FridayFeels. We are America's first live streaming daily talk show. It's gonna be Los Angeles. Welcome back to Good Morning LaLaLand. We are celebrating #Wealth Wednesday in house today. We've got Ms. Annalyn McCord and an angel himself, Mr. Matt Thompson. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
We had the honor of going to one of the Tech Post Angel events, and it was truly one of the most inspiring things I've done in Los Angeles. I feel like I'm in entrepreneur night school.
The Tech Post Angels is sort of like Shark Tank. We'll have a big auditorium, and then the entrepreneur will go up on stage and pitch their idea for 10 minutes. And then at the end of that, we'll decide, do we put in $500,000 or do we let's show them to the door?
Mm-hmm. So I've got a few ideas.
Yeah. Good time.
We're really at the very beginning of a huge tidal wave, I believe, in the startup and angel funding.
It's huge. Hulu and Netflix and Maker Studios and Full Screen and all these great...
Focus TV.
Focus
right?
TV.
I'll tell you guys that I am a huge fan of the show. And I think that you're by far the best looking, most beautiful morning show I have ever seen. I mean, you're gorgeous. And no, seriously, I mean, the impeccable dress.
Right.
You guys are, and it's such an intelligent show. It's a show that inspires others, and I love your conversation, manifesting, making people feel good. It's really inspirational, and I'm really excited to see everything that happens with this.
I want to echo.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I want
Thank
to
you.
echo Kevin's thoughts as well, because it is wonderful to see such positivity on TV, and like you were saying, relationships. It's your circle of influence, that starts your day off right, that influences everything that you do. So I absolutely love the content, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. It's Thought Thursday and we're discussing inspiration. So the question I have for you guys is, what or who inspires you each the most?
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I put you in the hot seat on that one.
You did. Well, you guys have inspired me today, for sure. I think anyone who is evolving and growing and always thirsting for that next truth. There's so many people, so it's really hard to answer.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's one of those things too that when you're sort of lit up, you notice that everyone else is lit up in some way too. You see the light in them when you're lit up. Yeah.
When do you feel most inspired, Jamie? Do you it's like as a writer, are you one of those people who I like to write in public, I have my little desk, I think of my ideas in the bathtub, what is that for you?
I definitely, meditating, I just things will just come through me. So, but I like to write at home because otherwise I'm like, oh, what are they doing? I get too distracted, So, yeah, exactly.
What about you, Lynn?
I'm inspired by the people who make the hard quits. Think about, they say quitters never win, winners never quit. But think of Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates or Steve Jobs. They all made huge quits, and now they've made giant marks on our society. And that takes a lot of courage, especially those who are quitting things that have maybe taken years of time and money and investment in their schooling and their training to be this isn't in line with my highest good, and I'm going to make the hard quit. So I'm always inspired by those stories.
So true. We're not promoting for you to quit school or anything like that, but it is true. One of the most inspiring people in my life, Ken Losh, he dropped out of school in 8th grade and has been one of very, very successful monetarily wise, but making a huge impact in so many green tech things. And it's so true, right? Quitting.
Yeah, I mean, I quit graduate school before going to medical school and law school because I was in graduate school for multimedia, and I was like, this isn't for me. You know?
Right.
Jamie, have you ever had to make a strategic quit in your life?
I was thinking about that when you were talking. I think when I quit acting to full-time write, I fired my acting people because I wanted to be completely focused on writing and producing and directing. So that was it. And I love directing actors. I love it. It's my greatest joy.
I'm sure having been an actor, that gives you a whole other way of relating with the performance.
Yes, yeah.
I'd say so much of this inspiration thing and quitting thing is about intuition, right? Tapping into your intuition, because I think it's really hard to know what to quit just by thinking it through or being logical about it, as you said. And it's really hard to be inspired if you're not tapped into what you feel deep inside. So how do you guys tap into that intuition? You mentioned meditation. Is there anything else you've discovered that is very helpful?
It's just paying attention to what moves that needle on. If I'm in a total state of equanimity, everything's fine, and then all of a sudden there's a feeling in the pit of my stomach, I don't let that go by. No, something caused that. Let's stop and examine why that happened. Or if I start feeling anxious, and vice versa, if I start feeling really ecstatic, ooh, what caused that? That's we're tending towards flow state. So it's just paying attention for me.
Yeah, for me, it's continually getting into my heart. Just when you notice that you're maybe triggered by something, oh, okay, what was that? How can I learn from that? And then just going back into that heart frequency, flowing from there. Yeah,
it's huge. I remember before I'd ever discovered meditation, for me it was running. like I would just run, and I would run so much and so far that I would just start having these downloads in my head. I think because I was so exhausted that my mind would go so quiet. All of a sudden, I'm like, my best ideas would come through, and I had nowhere to document it. And by the time I got back, all gone. So I started carrying my phone around. But it's true. I think we all have certain activities that just we feel naturally inclined to do, that we enjoy, but that also allows us to tap into our intuition.
Yeah, running, same for me. I run by here a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
And dancing, like sometimes like if I feel a little stuck, just getting up and dancing, it just completely changes your energy. So yeah.
Jez, do you have anything?
Do I have anything? Well, I don't know. It depends on my mood. Dancing for one, music is key for me.
Yeah.
So I have to, like, if I'm not feeling myself or I'm really stuck in my head, I turn my music up in my little Fiat so loud. My musical taste hasn't evolved since I was like 12. I like hot music, turn on the Pink, I want to light a fire in the world, I like to cry. Like, for me, that is definitely probably my thing that gets me back into feeling like myself. Or a hot bath. I love a hot bath, the bubbles, like the very Pretty Woman style. Candles. I recognize I'm pretty ridiculous. No, that's okay.
We love that about you.
Right.
We absolutely love that about you, Jez.
Prayer is probably the biggest place to, like spoken word and like getting into the, even putting on music and doing the spoken word, and then all of a sudden you get to this place where there's like chills on your body, your true self spirit's flowing through, and you're like, okay, you're there. That's when you know that's the mark.
Do you feel like a huge part of it is setting an intention for yourself to tap in or to be creative or to be inspired? I feel like it's a huge part of it though as well. It's like you have to have some intention, because if you don't, you're distracted all the time and your attention spread too thin.
You know what, for me personally, I can't set an intention before I really set. So Jamie, you mentioned like getting into that heart space. For me, sometimes like I literally feel tight chested. Like that heart, that throat chakra, like it's just blocked. And I'm like, oh, I'm not releasing whatever emotion or resentment I'm carrying. So I need to like, crank up the Madonna and like sing my way through it, like, or cry it out or whatever it is. And then I can set my intention and, okay, how do I want to feel? How do I want to get aligned? What am I trying to get to?
Yeah.
But first I have to release that. And I have to release it very consciously.
I love that. Osho once said that the greatest help you can offer yourself or provide for yourself and the world is just to simply relax. So much so many beautiful things just happen as you relax. You get clarity, you tap into your intuition, you feel inspired, all of a sudden you're easier to be around.
That's when you gotta quit, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say when you get to that spot that you need the Madonna, take a look at like what made me so tight, what has closed my throat chakra, and all those things that you were saying, because like if that becomes a pattern, then maybe just like a lot of self-care is symptomatic treatment of whatever the disease is, and the disease might be a job or relationship that's not working for you. Start noticing so that you can get it at the root. Strategically quitting is a cure.
I'm effing fine. There's nothing for me to quit in my life. I'm effing fine. That's how I feel most days.
I'd say that one of the first things that I decided to quit was negativity and complaining. I think by far. Even if there's nothing else you're sure about quitting, everyone can quit that.
I was just thinking about gratitude, that how important that is. And when you want to create something in your life, if you focus on how it is already showing up for you, it just even creates more of it,
Sometimes you have to quit some friendships that are pretty toxic.
Absolutely.
For sure.
That's a big one. It's hard, but it's so important.
Yeah. How do you do that successfully? Quit people.
It's hard, yeah.
Maybe not the right word, but kind of.
Well, yeah. I mean, they say that you're the average of the 5 people that you hang around with the most, so you have to strategically choose those and strategically quit the ones that aren't. And it's harder if the people are family sometimes versus friends. But with friends, you want to keep the people around you who want the best for you. And if people are toxic or they're somehow draining in some other way, you may not have to have a big conversation with them, but they should be able to take showing your own truth. Like, this isn't working for me at this point. Nothing, just with all quits, make it about it's not you, it's me.
Or make it into an incredible script.
Yeah.
Well, there was the one day that crazy man was in my life, and then it becomes a movie.
Yeah.
And you're highlighting something here that I think is really important to point out, which is that like on the other side of quit is a commitment. Like on the opposite side of sort of saying no to something is a very hard yes to something. And so when you quit when you're quitting the friends that are super negative or complaining or toxic, you're actually doubling down on a commitment to the friends that are happy and harmonious and healthy and very supportive.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right? Or if you're quitting something else, maybe you're committing to the script.
Yeah. Or getting to your strengths
Right.
instead of working on all these weaknesses. Quit working on your weaknesses and just double down on like, I know I'm great at this. This is my zone of greatness. Let's work on this.
Turning wounds into art. That's that's how I take what's negative and make it positive.
Oh, I love
that.
But you have such like a light energy. It doesn't seem like you carry negativity.
A
or
lot
that
of
pain.
therapy.
We all love therapy. It's a good thing.
We'll never quit that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. We are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And don't forget, you can listen to all your favorite interviews available as a podcast on iTunes.
Please like, share, and comment, and subscribe, you guys. We're waking up the world together. Have a wonderful Thought Thursday.